There are few dates in modern history, perhaps 9/11, the first moon landing, or the day John F. Kennedy was shot, that have had as great an impact as November the 9th, 1989. Ask anyone older than 35 where they were when the Berlin Wall fell, and they'll remember.
It was exactly the time of official visit of Chancellor Kohl to Poland. And I remember the situation that we have plenary meeting with German delegation, and suddenly Kohl stand up and say to Mazowiecki, new Prime Minister of Poland, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm very sorry, but I have to postpone this visit because something is happening in Berlin.
However, the euphoria was not universal. Newly released documents indicate that Britain and France were not eager for German reunification, fearing that Germany could once again attempt to become the most powerful country in Europe.
I think that the fears of a united Germany that people had in 1989 look quite ludicrous today.
But concerns about a powerful Germany may have held back the reconstruction of the East. 20 years on, some eastern parts of Germany are still lagging behind the West.
West Germany has invested something like 1.6 trillion euro in historic, unique amount of money. No, it's just more of a sign that things take longer than many have expected, because it's not just about infrastructure or other economic features. It's very much about changing a society, changing a mentality, changing a culture, and that takes more than 20 years.
But change was astonishingly rapid, as Eastern Bloc countries embraced capitalism by embarking on a fast-track transition process. By 2004, 8 countries from the former Soviet bloc had been admitted to the European Union.
The transformation in reality went much more difficult, but we have a functioning democracy, we have functioning market economy. By the way, Slovakia is nowadays the largest car producer pro capita in the world.
However, in summer 2008, the tide turned. Many countries have been badly affected by the financial meltdown, but few had been harder hit than the fledgling economies of Eastern Europe, putting everything that had been achieved since the fall of the Berlin Wall in jeopardy. The severity with which the financial turmoil struck the region took many by surprise, exposing the weaknesses of capitalism. But no one could reasonably suggest the East had followed the wrong course.
Let's be frank, any major political and economic crisis bears its political risks. But up to now, I think it's remarkable the way that we haven't seen at all any major political force arguing in favor of getting back to old times.
In some Eastern European countries, Western banks own up to 70% of the financial sector. Demands to limit this influence have been growing, but a move away from unbridled capitalism might not be such a bad thing.
We went far away from centralized and state-owned economy, probably too far away, and now we will have to return a little bit, especially in developing the legislation that would enable an efficient control of the economy of financial services, and such control can be only in the hands of the state, of the government, because no other institution, especially not a private institution, is able to execute such a control.
The global crisis is not just a test for Eastern Europe, but for the EU as a whole. Although Eastern Europe has driven European growth rates for the past 10 years, there's now a sense that the post-Cold War growth model is broken. But perhaps this time, the West can learn something from the East.